How's everybody doing tonight? Give me a second to get set up here. Get signed into the chat. So, what's up, everybody? FOMO Trader here. Today is March 4th, 2022, Monday. I would like to start by going over some trades that I took today that I called out last night on Sunday night on April 3rd, 2022. I'm sorry, I might have said March. April 3rd, 2022, I called these trades out on Sunday night on my live, and I would like to review them, two of them being the Facebook and Tesla. So we're going to look at first the Facebook trade here. So if I pull this up, the trade we went over that I charted out, set the price targets for, and the risk to reward was a inside bar breakout. So we had Facebook breakout above my entry trigger, and we entered the trade. I bought to open Facebook 240 calls at $3.30. And if we come back and we look at my alert, let's see here. Give me 1 second, guys, trying to find it. So Facebook over 228.50. I set it, and it was triggered. Still not seeing it. Facebook over 228.50 for the 230 calls. I entered on the 240 calls at $3.30. The 230s should have moved even more. So at 9:34 a.m., I bought the calls for $3.30. So here, right when we had the breakout level. And then at 9:38 a.m., I scaled half of my position at $4, yielding 21% profit. And then at 9:52 a.m., I scaled the rest at $5, yielding over 50% profit. That was a great trade, hit my targets just like I thought it would, and we even surpassed my targets. So my targets was the 10% extension, the 27.2, the 38.2, the 50, and the fifth home run target was the 61.8. I scaled the last of my position at the 50%, but we did indeed reach all price targets. And that was a home run trade. Great risk to reward on that. Great risk to reward. So the risk to reward on that was a 5.5. 5.5 on that trade. So the next trade I want to look at here, which was also another home run, was Tesla. I sent this out also on Sunday night. So the alert was Tesla over 1,095. So we see here Tesla broke over 1,095 at 10:01 a.m. I entered the $1,110 calls, expiration April 8th for $23.30. It's an expensive contract, so I only bought one. And I basically had my stop loss around the 1,091 area, about halfway below in between my entry and the 23% fib. Excuse me. So I just followed the price action all the way up, and once we hit my final price target, $1,112.12, I sold my position for $3,500. I bought in at 10:01 a.m., sold at 10:39, so 38-minute trade. I yielded $1,170 profit, or over 50.2%. That was a great trade, and that was when I also called out on Sunday night. I nailed it. I set my triggers up. I didn't force anything, and I let the trade come to me and the rest is history. So now, after those trade reviews are over, I would like to go over how I did today. So I took 3 trades altogether. I took that one on Tesla for one, yielded $1,170 profit. A trade on Facebook for 2 contracts, I yielded $240 profit. And then I took a trade on SPY 0 day to expiration contracts for 4 of those, and that yielded $131 profit. So in total, I took 3 trades. All 3 trades were green. So had a great day with a $1,541 return. So I only took those 3 trades and didn't want to force anything else. So I cut the monitors off and I moved on about my day and went and did something else. So I didn't give back any of my profits. So I want to look at some trades for tomorrow. So we've got Airbnb, which has formed an inside bar here. So if we look, what we're going to do, just like we've been doing in all my other videos, so we are going to plot the low, or plot the high of the prior candle and plot the low. So this is inside bar breakout level. So those are our 2 levels there. Then we're going to draw our Fibonacci from the low to the high. And I'm going to switch back to the 5-minute chart. And we're going to go ahead and set this trade up. So we are looking for a break above 178. So we'll set up this alert. And we're going to look for a break above 178. So this is how I set my alert. So Airbnb above 178. Let me get the broker pulled up here so we can see the options chain. And if we count 1, 2, 3, that's 180. So we're going to look at the $180 calls. Expiration April 8th, 22. Our price targets on this, we are just going to use our fib extension levels, and I'm going to round 178.50, 179.50, 180, we'll call it 180.15, 180.80, and our 5th and final price target would be 181.50. Stop loss on this. So where should we put the stop loss? If we would put it at the 23.6 fib retracement level below our entry trigger, that would be risking too much. So we're going to set it at about the halfway point, which this we will set it at 177 even. So stop loss, and our coordinates would be 177. Actually, that's too low, so we'll do 177.50. Should be a better halfway point. So 177.50. And our risk to reward on this trade, if we go ahead and we plot this out, so we're going to go long position. We're going to enter on a break above 178. Our home run price target would be 181.50 at the 61.8 extension. And our stop loss would be 177.50. Risk to reward on this trade, a 7. 7 times your money if this plays out like I think it will. 7 times your money. So I'm going to take this going to save this alert. I'm going to come over here to Twitter. And we're going to post this to Twitter. And I'm going to post a link to my YouTube channel. Going to tweet this. Make sure. Yep, there we go. So, beautiful play there, beautiful play. So now we're going to look at the downside opportunity on this play. So I'm going to remove all these drawings. We're going to come back to the daily, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw the inside bar breakout levels for the high and the low. And we're going to go ahead and label these so there's no confusion on what we're looking at. And then we are going to draw our fib from the high to the low. Now we're going to switch back to the 5 minute. So we're going to look for a break under 172.20. So we're going to set up this alert. We're going to look for a break under 172.20. So Abnb under 172.20. And then if we count 3 extensions, 1, 2, 3, we're at $170.05. So we're going to look at the 170 puts expiration for 8/2022. Price targets, we are just going to use our extension level. So our 10%, we're going to call it 171.70, or we'll go with 65 actually. 170.70 is our second. Our third would be 170.05, or we'll just call it 170 on the head. Our fourth would be 169.40, and our home run price target would be 168.70. Stop loss, we are going to set in between. So we're going to find about our halfway mark here. 172, so we're going to call it 173. Let's see where that's at. No. 172.75 is about halfway in between. So we're going to set this as our stop loss. And then we are going to plot our risk to reward. So we're going to enter on, sorry, we're going to enter on a break below 172.20. Then our final price target would be 168.70. And our stop loss, what we had set, was 172.75. $6.36. Beautiful. Almost 6.4 times your money. I mean, phenomenal risk to rewards on these trades from these inside bar breaks. So now we're going to go over here. We're going to set this alert. We're going to come over here to Twitter. We're going to post this. And we're going to go ahead and tweet this. So the next ticker I want to look at, one that's been severely beat up, is AMD. Massive amount of sell-off. But if we come over here to the daily and we look at AMD, we've got an inside bar here. So yeah, the reason this bar is yellow is because it's inside the high and low of the previous bar. And if we look here, you can see that there was a whole bunch of buying pressure here. That's why we have this super long wick. So there was a whole bunch of buying pressure, and this is a bullish sign to me. So just like any other one, we're going to plot our inside bar breakout level, the high, and we're going to plot our inside bar breakout level, the low. Now we're going to draw a fib from the low to the high to get our bullish targets here. So we are looking for the high of that is $111.42. So we're just going to set this alert for $111.50. So we're looking for AMD over $111.50. And if we look up three price targets, that's $113.45. I only like to go 3 up. So $113.45, and then the next one is $114. So we can go, I'm going to go with the 114 calls just because AMD has been so beat up between last week and this week. I think that we have some room for some upward movement, and I think it's going to be a good trade. So expiration is April 8th, 22. Price targets. Hey Chris, how you doing? Price targets on this, we're just going to use our fib extension levels. So our 10% extension level, I'm going to round this up, would be 112 would be our first one. Our second one would be 112.90. Our third one would be 113.50. Fourth would be 114.10. And our fifth would be 114.70 for our home run at the 61.8% extension. That's the one I always use because you see a lot of reversals around that level or sell-offs. The algos will automatically like to sell anywhere between the 50, 61.8, and 78.6, but it's normally more times than not the 61.8. So our stop loss. So we're going to do the same thing we did on the other ones. We're going to come up here. We're going to find about the halfway point, which to me will set it for 110.60. So we'll set this as stop loss 110.60. And then we are going to plot our potential profit for this, our risk to reward. So if I bring back up this alert, and we come over here and we plot this. So we're looking for an entry above $111.50 would be our entry trigger. Our final price target, if we hit a home run, would be 114.70. And our stop loss that I set it as was 110.60. So our stop loss is 110.60. Risk to reward on that's at 3.56. 3.56 times your money. Risk to reward 3.56, and that's if final price target is hit. So let me just make sure I have this right. Over $111.50. Final price target being $114.70. Yes, that's correct. So now we are going to come over here and post this to Twitter so you guys can catch the plays here and set this up to alert you on your own. So there we go. We got AMD there. Alerts set up in trading view. So now that the alerts are set up and waiting on us, we just wait for an alert to trigger and then we enter the trade. So now we're going to look at downside potential. So let me delete this alert. We don't need this one. So for downside potential, it's going to be the same setup here. We're going to come back over here to the daily. And we still have our inside bar breakout level high marked and our inside bar breakout level low marked. So now for the downside targets, we're going to draw a fib from the breakout level high to the breakout level low. Now we're going to switch back over here to the 5. I'm going to go ahead and draw my stop loss at about the halfway point here. So this will be our stop loss. We'll call it 106.75 because I like round numbers, so do the algos. So we'll set that as our stop loss. And we're going to go ahead and set our alerts here. So we're going to look for AMD under 106.10. So AMD under 106.10, and then we're going to count 3 price targets down using our fib extensions as our price targets. So our third one down is about $104.07. So if we look at our options chain, we'll look at the 104 puts. Expiration April 8th, 22. And our price targets on this would be 105.60 would be your 10% extension. Then we've got 104.65 would be your 27.2 extension. Then 104.10 would be your 38.2. 103.40 would be your 50. And then 102.80 would be your 61.8. Our stop loss that we set up was 106.75. And risk to reward on this trade. So now we're going to come over here and we're going to do a short position. We're going to look for entry at a break below 106.10. Sorry, let me fix this. 106.10. Final price target being 102.80. And our stop loss being 106.75. 5 times your money. 5.08. And a lot of people might say that these are unattainable price targets, but today is just proof on Facebook and Tesla that I charted last night and set up my price targets and my trigger alerts. Both of them hit all 5 price targets, and you got the full risk to reward, which they were both just great trades. And I reviewed them at the beginning of this video on when I entered, when I exited, and the profit I made. So now we're going to come over here. I'm going to post this on Twitter again. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure this information is available to you guys. And this is the best way to be able to set the trades up yourself. And set up your alerts. So, went ahead and tweeted that out. So, I've got, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these drawings. Then you can see I've still got both my alerts set. So once those levels are crossed, it'll pop up, give me a nice pretty alert, show me all my price targets, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. So the other ones I've got that I kind of want to look at, ask you guys which ones you would like me to go over. So Alibaba has also got an inside bar, but I kind of don't really want to chart this one out because we're looking at some pretty close resistance here over a major level back up. So I'm kind of on the fence about that one. Then we've got Mara, which likes to run with Bitcoin. It also has an inside bar, but let's look at Bitcoin and see how it's doing right now. So Bitcoin, we did have a little run up there. It's just to know if we continue into tomorrow. So we can go ahead. We'll take a look at Mara here. So we're going to do it the same as before. We've got an inside bar, which is inside the prior bar. So we're going to plot the high. And then we are going to plot the low. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And I will try my best to answer them for you. Then we are going to plot the Fibonacci from the 2 levels we just marked, from the low to the high, to get our bullish targets. Then I like to switch back to the 5 minutes to get a better view. So we are going to look for a break over 29.06. So we're going to set up this alert, and so Mara over 29.06, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 29.70. So we're going to look at the $30 calls. What is the delta on these? So the $30 calls have about a 44-cent delta. And the contracts themselves right now are at about 77 cents. So, I mean, just if we break that price target and we make it all the way till 30, I mean, you're looking at 50% gains right there. So, I like this play. So we're going to look at $30 calls. Expiration April 8th. Price targets 29.25, 29.50, 29.70 is your third. Your fourth is 29.90, and your fifth is 30.10 is our home run. Our stop loss on this, we're going to come in here and set it just like the other ones. We're going to find the halfway point, which is usually prior resistance. So we're going to set our stop here. And we're going to do 28.80. risk to reward on this trade. Yeah, I can look at Twitter once I get done with Mara. No problem, man. So risk to reward on this, we're going to do a long position. So we're going to look for entry on a break above 29.06. Our final price target being $30.10 for home run, and our stop loss being $28.80. Risk to reward on that is a 4 on the head. So we're going to come over here, we're going to post this. And now we are going to look at the downside. So we are still going to leave our inside bar breakout level high and our inside bar breakout level low plotted here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw our fib in reverse. We're going to draw it from the high down to the low. And let me just make sure this is right. So our coordinates 2906, 2737, that is correct. So we're going to look for a break below 2737. And we're going to look for Mara under 2737, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 26, 72, and then our 2650s. So we'll look at the 2650 puts. Expiration April 8th. Price targets, just keeping it simple, using the fib levels 27.2, 2690, 2670, 2650, and home run would be 2630. Stop loss is going to be our halfway point, 2760. I mean, you guys can risk more if you want to risk more. I just don't like risking more. Hey Mosh, how you doing? So 2760. So stop loss would be $27.60. And our risk to reward on this, if we go ahead and plot this out. So we're looking for a break under 2737. Our final home run price target would be 2630. And our stop loss would be 2760. 4.6 times your money. $4.6. So now I'm going to take this, put it on Twitter. So Mara daily inside bar downside play. And just take these, set your alerts, and wait for it to happen. Don't force the trade. Let the trades come to you. Just do your due diligence, your charting, your technical analysis, and set the trades up the night before, so the next day you can just, the market opens, you can sit, you can wait, and once a trigger hits, you wait for confirmation, you enter the trade, and from what I've seen the last couple of days, these trades are really going in our favors. The algos are buying and selling at these exact levels. This is how the computers trade. If we can't beat them, we need to join them and do the same thing. So there's the Mara trade. And Chris said he wanted me to look at Twitter. So not a problem. So Elon Musk bought a 9.3% stake. He is the biggest single shareholder of Twitter honestly, my opinion, I think he is about to completely buy Twitter out and take over and make it basically his own platform. So what we're going to do here, if we look on the daily, we can see that this white line here is our 200-day moving average. And Twitter, basically, we shot up over 27% today. And then we got pretty close here to the 200-day moving average, and then we pulled back. I believe if we break over the 200-day moving average, we're going to see a lot bigger of a move. So to plot this one out and keep it simple, I'm going to plot the high here. So this was the daily high from April 4th, 22. And we'll plot the low. Daily low from April 4th. So now we're going to draw our fib from the low to the high. I'm going to switch to the 5-minute, and we're going to play it just like an inside bar. So we can set up an alert here. I like sticking to round numbers, psychological. A lot of other people do, because when you count in 5s, 10s, 20s, 25s, 50s, dollars. You don't count in 6s or 7s or 3s or 4s. You count just like I did before. So we're going to look for a break over 51.40. So Twitter over 51.40, and we're going to count up 1, 2, 3. Price targets at the 38.2 extension was a 53.09. So I'm going to look at my options chain here, and we're going to look at the 53 calls. The 53 calls, which do not exist. So we've got the $50 and the $55 calls. So we're going to go with the 55s. Wow, the $50 calls today ran 14,200%. That is just crazy. So if anybody would have had those from the night before and held them, to the peak of the day, they made absolute bank. So we're going to look at the $55 calls instead of drooling over what gains we could have had. Expiration. Price targets, we're just going to use our fib levels. 51.80, 52.60, 53.10. Sorry. 53.10, 53.65, and our fifth one would be 54.15. Stop loss on this. Don't want to keep it too wide. That's how you end up giving back too much. So we're going to find about the halfway resistance point here. And we're going to set this for 50.85. We're going to use this as our stop loss. So stop loss would be 50.85, and our risk to reward on this trade. So now we're going to do a long position. We're going to enter above 51.40, which is correct. Our final price target would be 54.15, and our stop loss would be 50.85. 5 times your money. 5 times your money. Be a great trade. So, I'm going to post this to Twitter as well. go ahead and we can look at the downside as well, because we have a huge gap up here. I mean, absolutely huge. And that would be a hell of a play too. So we are going to plot our fib from the downside. We're going to go from the high to the low. So our high, just make sure this is exactly on point, 51.37 and 46.86, which it is. So we're going to look for a break below 46.85. So under 46.85, and then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 45.14. So we're going to look at the $45 puts. Expiration the 8th. Price targets would be 46.40 would be our 10%. 46.65 would be our 27.2. 45.15 would be our 38.2. Then we got 44.60 for our fourth at our 50%, and we'll just call it 44 even for our fifth price target. Stop loss come in here, and we're gonna find right here. And I have no rhyme or reason to where I set my stop losses. I just look for the midway point in between my entry trigger level where I enter the trade and then the next fib retracement level. So stop loss 47, we'll set this to a round number, 47.30. Stop loss 47.30, risk to reward. We are going to take this and look at the short side. So we would enter the trade on a break of 46.85. Our final price target would be 44. And our stop loss would be 47.30. 6.33. 6.3 times your money. Which, on this trade, if we hit that fifth price target at $44, we are possibly going to see a full gap close all the way back down to here. So this one, I might have to let it ride, keeping a tight stop loss on this trade just to be comfortable. And every time a price target is hit and the price progresses farther down to our next price target, keep moving your stop loss up so you don't give back too much on the trade. So we're going to do and there's one more ticker I want to look at. Well, actually, I want to look at two more, but this video has already been running about 45 minutes. So you guys want me to go over Tesla or Facebook? Just pop it in the chat and tell me which one you'd like to see. Anybody? So we'll look at Tesla's chart here. We'll look at the daily. So Tesla over resistance here, and we're kind of in an area where we can shoot all the way up here to about 1170. And then Facebook, we've also sitting here at a little resistance and a possible huge gap back up. I like the Facebook chart more, but we can do both of them. Mosh, do you always wait for a retest to enter a trade using these levels? You mean basically if it breaks my entry target, am I waiting for it to retest that level before I enter the trade? If that's what you mean, I don't necessarily wait for a retest. I wait for what I would like to call confirmation. So confirmation is I will wait for the current candle to close, and I will make sure that the body of that candle closes above my entry alert trigger. I don't want a wick to close. If a wick closes, then I'll be skeptical on entering the trade. But I typically like to trade off the 3-minute or the 5-minute time frame. So on the 5-minute, I will look at and see, I will wait for the candle to close, and if the wick closes above the level but not the body, I will switch to the 3-minute and I will look at it. And sometimes you'll get a pop above your alert trigger, and if you're not careful, you'll have an immediate sell-off because the algos will start buying or selling once that is triggered. Because if you follow these Fibonacci levels and you pay close attention, you will notice when it hits these levels and these price targets, you will immediately see buying or selling, whether you're going for bullish price targets or bearish price targets. It's pretty methodical to watch. So we can go over Tesla first. So just beautiful here. So we had an absolute pump of over almost $61 a day, 5% move, but we've seen much bigger for Tesla. So I'm going to plot this out the same exact way. So this was our daily high and daily low. So then we're going to draw our Fibonacci for our bullish targets from the low to the high. And I'm going to switch back over here to the 5-minute. So our high was 1149.91. So Tesla has a lot of range. I'm just going to round to absolute whole numbers with this, either 50 cent or $1 even numbers on the head. Because Tesla has a lot of range and it'll just blow right past these. So we're going to set up our alert and we're going to look for a break above 1150. So Tesla over 1150. And then if we count 1, 2, 3 price targets out, we're at 1179.47. So that would be our 1180 calls, which are pretty pricey. They are at about $15.60 per contract, or $1,560 for one contract. But you can make a lot of money off Tesla contracts. You just have to be super careful if you're not working with a lot of liquidity. So we're going to go with the 1180 calls, expiration 4/8/22. Price targets are just going to be our fib levels. So 1158. 1171, 1180, 1189, and our fifth one would be 1198. Stop loss on this trade, you got to keep it tight so you don't get burned. Gonna go with about the halfway point would be 1139.50. So this would be our stop loss. So stop loss here. So now we're going to come in here and we're going to look at our possible upside potential. So we are going to wait for a break above 1150 on the head. Then our final price target was 1189 that we set way up there. And then we've got 1139.50. Whoops. 1139.50 as our stop loss. 3.7 times your money. Which doesn't seem like a lot compared to the other trades, but with Tesla, it's a lot. I can promise you that. That right there, we hit that final price target. I guarantee you're going to see at least 50% returns. You're going to make $700 to $800 off of one contract if you're in the 1180 calls. So this final price target is hit. So we're going to come over here. So Tsla continuation play. And we're going to post this so you guys can set up these alerts yourself. And now we will look at the downside. So we've still got our daily high from today drawn and our daily low. So for downside numbers, we're going to draw our fib from the high to the low. And this is going to give us our extension numbers to the downside. But honestly, I'm so bullish on Tsla. Sassy says, well, you look at puts if it breaks under the 1131 fib level. So under 1131. So let me go back. I would do the downside for Tsla, but I'm so bullish on this name that I don't even want to do the downside, to be honest. I think we're going to see some continued uptrend and bullish buying be all the way up until FMOC. I think the market as a whole is just going to pump. So you're talking about a downside here if we don't hold or if we break below the 23.6. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to get rid of this fib. And so basically you can draw a fib like I have using daily candles from the high to the low or the low to the high. But if you want a fib for intraday price action, so we could draw it from here for this leg. So if we zoom in here and we look at this leg, basically we had the price go up, we consolidated, and then the price went down. So the price went down from here to here. So if we come over here and we plot this leg, and if you look, plotting just this leg here, let me zoom in so you guys can see this. This is what I'm talking about with the algos. So I've only drawn my fib from, I'm going to redraw it. So if we draw it, we had a uptrend here, we consolidated for a minute, and then we had a downtrend. So I'm going to draw it from here, from this high to this low before the price reversed. Now, if we come over here and we look at the 61.8 level, look exactly where it lines up, where that level of support was before, where the body of those candles end and the wick is coming through. So that right there should prove to you guys that the algos are buying and selling. So under 1131, you would have targets of 1130, 1128.50, 1126, and 1123. And I could do it on a higher time frame, but like I said, I'm bullish on Tsla, and if the trend changes tomorrow, I will plot those levels out and share them. Last one I want to look at, and then I'm going to call it a night, is Facebook. So if we look at Facebook on the daily, so we're at, sorry, let me delete all of these. We don't need all these alerts. Come on, cooperate. So if we look at Facebook here, we can see that we are currently at resistance. So we have a little bit of resistance here. And after we get past these next two levels, support turn resistance turn support, however you want to look at it, we have this huge gap. I mean, this huge gap. Facebook could have a phenomenal run. Mosh, I'm not sure what you mean. Can you rephrase your question and I'll try to answer it the best I can? I'm not sure what you mean by retest. Are you talking about confirmation, retest of a certain level before entering or exiting? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these drawings. So, and I'm going to plot this was the daily high from 4/4/22, and we're going to plot the daily low from 4/4. I believe Sassy, I believe that there is Fibonacci on Webull, but it is kind of limited. You only kind of get one side. You can do a Fibonacci extension or a retracement, where the way I have it set up in TradingView, it basically shows both. It shows the extension and retracement in the same drawing. So to plot the fib, you're going to see our bullish targets, we're going to go from the low to the high. And then I'm going to switch back to the 5 minutes so we're not looking at this super congested chart. So on Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set my stop loss here at 233.30. So we're going to set up an alert. We're looking for Facebook over 234.35. And I am bullish on Facebook as well. So I'm only going to do the upside play for calls. And if we count up 1, 2, 3, which is not a crazy idea, if we count up 3 price targets, we're looking at 237.59. So if I look at my options chain and see what contracts are available. So 237.59, we have 237.50 calls, and then 240s. We'll go with the 237.50s. 237.50 calls, expiration 4/8/22. And then I'm going to keep it simple, and I'm going to set my price targets as our Fibonacci levels. So 235.20 and 236.66. I really don't like that number, so we're going to do 236.70. We're going to round up. 237.60. Our fourth one is 238.60, and our fifth price target is 239.60. Would you look at that? 60, 60, 60 after a 666 number. That's kind of weird. Stop loss was 233.30, and our risk to reward on this trade, we're going to do long position. We're going to look for an entry above 234.35. Our final price target would be 239.60, and our stop loss would be 233.30. Risk to reward on that trade is a 5. 5 times your money. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to post it to Twitter real quick. So that is posted. So if we zoom back out on Facebook, though, and we look at our fib levels, if I look at the 1 hour here, and we look at our fib levels, our 100% isn't even in the gap up zone. So if we get to the 61.8, I'm probably going to hold tight, and I am going to keep a very tight stop loss and wait for the price action to see if we get into this gap up area, because if we get into this gap up area, we could be in supernova status. Somebody could light a rocket under Facebook's ass, and we could just see a huge move to the upside. Hopefully, like I said, I'm bullish on Facebook and Tesla just due to the fact that the FMOC meetings come out Wednesday, and I think we will be bullish all the way up to it. Mosh, so do you wait for a retest after breaking above entry price, or do you just watch volume? I don't really watch the volume at all. So once it breaks above the entry price and I get my alert, so if we come back over here and we look at Facebook, we'll use this as an example. So my alert is set here. So we're looking for a break above 234.35. So the price breaks above my level. It pops up. I get an alert. It gives me all my price targets, my stop loss, my risk to reward. So, like I said, I wait for the candle that is currently being built to close. When the candle closes, if the body of that candle closes above my entry trigger alert number, I will enter the trade, the body. If a wick closes above that level, then I will hold off and I will switch to a different time frame to see if a lower time frame candle does indeed close. So I typically trade on the 5-minute or 3-minute charts. I will typically use the 5-minute, and then if the candle doesn't close correctly, I will switch to the 3-minute so I can look and see at a candle quicker close than a candle would on the 5-minute. So I hope that answered your questions. I hope everybody got some good stuff out of these videos. If you like my videos, please subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button, share it with your friends. I would greatly appreciate it. I had 3 trades today. All 3 trades were green, netting over $1,541, and I've got my alerts set up for tomorrow, and now it's just a waiting game. You do your due diligence and your TA, and you wait till the next day when your alerts trigger, and that's how you play your trades. You play safe, you keep a tight stop loss, and you just roll with it. So I will see you guys. I'll be doing another live probably every day this week, going over my trades and my potential trades for the next day. So thank you guys. Have a good night.